All right, we got more trash, and this trash is about everyone's favorite comedy duo. When you think of comedy duos, obviously first on the list, Hannah and Jake. Second on the list, Siegfried and Roy, both dead. Third on the list, Simon and Garfunkel, also dead. And not comedy, but definitely comedy. So, I mean, obviously we're at the top. I mean, pretty much. Penn and Teller, those aren't comedians. Those are magicians. And you would never have thought of them. How dare you? No. Abbott and Costello, no. Get Garfunkel, no. Stop it. Stop. No. You don't think about any of those. You don't think about them. Right? I just said you don't think about them. You think about me, and then dead people, and then people who aren't even in comedy. Because we're the only viable comedy duo. Besides the amazing comedy duo of, drumroll, Tucker Carlson and...
Well, last night we played you tape from the CEO of Twitter, Jack Dorsey, admitting that his campaign of censorship against Donald Trump
Who is it?
applies to you. And it's just the beginning. He made that clear in this video from Project Veritas.
Oh, well, this is Jack. Not Jack. Not Jack. We're gonna expose it. We're gonna show it in just a second.
We are focused on one account right now, but this is going to be much bigger than just one account, and it's going to go on for much longer than just this day.
Of course.
This week. I don't believe this is going away anytime soon.
Good.
And the moves that we're making today around QAnon, for instance, is one such example of a much broader approach that we should be looking at and going deeper on.
Yeah, I agree.
This is going to be much bigger than just one account.
Comedy duo?
Now, that may be of concern to Jimmy Dore, host
What? Jimmy Dore?
The Jimmy Dore Show. His views are on the opposite end from...
What the fuck? Jimmy Dore? All right. Okay. Here's the thing, all right? Here's the fucking thing, all right? Jimmy Dore sucks. Jimmy Dore has pretty much always sucked. Jimmy Dore is yelly. He just screams at people and then is like surprised when nobody likes him. Except for like I don't want to no, I'm going to not shout out the other people that like him. I'm going to avoid that discourse. Peter Coffin, Angie Speaks, people like that. No, I didn't avoid it. So, like, what is the fucking deal, man? Like, what is the fucking deal? Crystal Ball? That's a great name, by the way. Jimmy Dore is ineffective, in my opinion. Entirely ineffective. And this is another situation where he should not be doing this. I think Jimmy Dore has the audacity to assume that he goes on somewhere like Fox News, and there's a bunch of people watching Fox News who go, maybe the left isn't so bad. I definitely think that's what he thinks is the way to be. Does he have bad ideas? Oh boy, he is. He's a grifter. He's jumping on this sort of like progressive sort of populist thing, and then he tries to just be really aggressive and say shit that like really. He's the type. He's doing this whole thing where like AOC is trash. She's no better than like a neo-lib, and it's like, what the fuck is your standard here? Like, what? He has really bad takes. He doesn't like. He's toxic. I don't know why anyone would like him. Anyway, so let's just watch a little bit. Let's just watch a little bit. He's boy, yeah. He's not a political understander. So here's Jimmy Dore going on Tucker Carlson to agree with him. All right.
Donald Trump, but his views are still hated by a lot of the people in charge. So Jimmy Dore, how does this make you feel?
Well, it makes me feel really uncomfortable that this new censorship push is coming from the left. Just like I warned the left when they were pushing evidence-free conspiracy theories called Russiagate and McCarthy smearing all their political enemies, that, of course, whenever you do McCarthy smearing or Russiagating or things like that, you're propping up the surveillance state, you're propping up the establishment, and they're going to come back to bite you. And that's exactly what happened with Bernie Sanders. He got caught up with doing Russiagate, and, of course, they spashed his campaign by Russiagating him, saying that Russia was supporting him. Exactly. So this scares me because it seems like on the left, can I just tell you, the Capitol riot did not happen because we didn't have enough censorship. That is a ridiculous idea, okay?
So that's not what censorship is. The reason we had the Capitol riot is because we did have things baking on Twitter due to the president and his followers for years. Literal years of this. The QAnon shit, the misinformation, the literal fucking lies, the anti-science rhetoric, like the fucking attack on media, which you saw that day, the idea that it's okay to like threaten people's lives because you lost a political election, like what the fuck? If you don't think deplatforming Donald Trump has anything to do with extremism, then you are not paying attention to how extremism works. Like, literally every single one of you have experienced either firsthand or you know somebody or you've just seen it second or third. Like, you get radicalized by the sort of the wormhole of right-leaning individuals. You might start with someone that you think is reasonable, like I don't know, Dave Rubin tries to come across as reasonable, right? And you might start with like Tulsi Gabbard, who is now a part of the Rubin Report. That's a real thing. Tulsi Gabbard, who might come on and say like, yeah, the left censorship is just too much, and I am a Democrat, and blah 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 blah. And you go, okay. So next thing I'll watch. I'll watch Jordan Peterson. He's got a lot of big words that come out. And he's talking about censorship. And then immediately you get to his censorship about trans people. And you're like, yeah, I don't want to be censored. It's the First fucking Amendment. I'm not going to use pronouns in my speech. And now you have a shitlord immediately. That's two videos. And then after the trans stuff from him, you're getting into people like fucking Blair White, Sargon of Akkad, Undoom. Like, you're literally going all the way down. And if you keep going, you're going to go even further. You're going to go Nick Fuentes. You're going to go all these QAnon people. You're gonna go to Edge of Wonder. You're gonna you're gonna get deep in there, especially if you ended up on a place like 4chan. If you end up on Reddit for doing some of this shit, like Jimmy Dore just became another funnel toward this kind of thing. By just going on, like, he could say this independently and be wrong, right? He could say this independently and be wrong, but then he opened it up to a bunch of Fox News people, right? And he's agreeing. He didn't go on here. Like, you could platform Tucker Carlson or something, but it's about his bad ideas and attacking him, right? Because at this point, Tucker Carlson's so big, he's platforming me or whoever goes on to challenge him, right? It's not the other way around. Even if he only comes on the show and doesn't put it up on Fox News, that's still him platforming me. And he knows this kind of shit, right? And so having someone on the left support him and his stupid ideas is like a really, really bad shit. Love how trans people are simultaneously blamed for and the biggest victims of censorship. Of course. Yeah. Absolutely. End up on Reddit. I feel attacked, but you're right. Well, Reddit is, first of all, a cesspool. It's also what you make it. But there's a lot of places on Reddit that for a fact help this wormhole thing. Yeah. Giving free clout, Tucker would never. Yeah. Yeah, this is a systemic problem within how media is shared and shit like that. Jimmy Dore can be right about something like healthcare or something, but the way he uses his aggression and the way he communicates it is dog shit. He is really bad at it. And I'm surprised he has such a platform because he's really not that good at his job. just from a communication standpoint in general. So, anyway, let's finish this clip.
Silicon Valley has turned into an extension of the Democratic Party. Glenn Greenwald just experienced that, right? I mean, what is going on right now is crazy. So, just freedom of speech is the first in the Bill of Rights because it's important.
Freedom of speech is not tied to Twitter. Batty Bell, thanks so much for giving one to Yeet the Carter. Again, I don't know who has to hear this, but we'll say it again. This is how the capitalist system has set up. You cannot get rid of this kind of thing without getting rid of capitalism, or at least in the way that this acts. I would agree with Jimmy Dore if it was the government doing it. It's not. It's a corporation. You don't have access to Twitter as a right. It's just not a thing. There's arguments to say it's like the public square. There's also other social medias. There's Snapchat, there's TikTok, there's Facebook. As far as the top 3 competitors, I would consider places like Twitch and YouTube to be a form of social media at that point. And in the way that they operate, especially YouTube, you can do stories and stuff now. So, you know, and there's other stuff that you can use that is smaller, but if you want. But it's not the federal government doing it. The First Amendment protects you from the federal government. That's it. If you want, have a public service that is akin to Twitter, Facebook, whatever, that is by the government, and then that's how social media works, and that's fine. Okay? Even if it's like through a subsidy or something. If you make Twitter a public product or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Owned and operated by the government, then you couldn't ban anybody for most things unless they violate federal law, right? So, yeah. I heard a take the other day that fascism is capitalism without money. Fascism has money. What? Yeah. So it's if you don't believe that is the case, then it's a slippery slope for how businesses operate, right? Can businesses decide who they patronize? Yes or no? Yes. As long as they're not targeting you for innate things about yourself, right? If they're not targeting you for being whatever your skin color is, right? Then good. Whatever your religion is, whatever your sexuality is. Okay, they can't do that. They can, however, for your actions. No shirt, no shoes, no service, stuff like that. So, like a slippery slope that is real. You could make the argument based on how, banning on Twitter shouldn't be legal or some shit like that. For things that, I mean, he literally incited a fucking riot, and like it was seditious behavior. I would consider that a federal law that is violated. Is religion innate? Religion is a protected class, and I will consider it innate for the sake of the Constitution and how we protect religion already. But yeah, so. But bakers can refuse to serve gay couples. This is the thing. The baker didn't refuse to serve the gay couple. The baker refused to do art about the gay couple, which I think is a quality distinction, and it was a bad example of a thing. It was sketchy. It was sketchy. I agree with that. But it's also important for artists not to be forced to do things, and that's really what's on the books there. He didn't really. I mean, he won that case. And that they didn't get it didn't set the precedent he was trying to set. Let's say that. It set the precedent of, like, you can't make someone create a depiction of something that they find, against their own taste. So, for instance, this also protects artists from being forced to draw a swastika or something. It's not ideal, but specifically the way that played out, it only sets precedent insofar as, like, the art is concerned. Because the argument was that the design on the cake and putting 2 men on there or whatever was the art portion, and it felt like compelled art, which is part of free speech, which it's probably a good distinction. But, yeah, it was. If they had argued it a different way, I would have disagreed with it for sure. But it extended protections for artists. That is probably an overall good thing. But rather, you can't not serve someone because they're, gay or whatever, which is what he said he wasn't doing. He said he would have been happy to serve them anything else besides the depiction and get the depiction somewhere else, which I understand why you would be offended and why you'd want to sue. But it might be an important protection. I don't know. So, yeah. He would also protect gay artists from making anti-gay messages, of course, yeah. Yeah. It's never going to be perfect. From an ethical standpoint, I think at this point you just go, okay, well, there's social implications that are stronger there, and you should not be patronized by the people in the area if they support gay people, right? I'm fine with that, but you can't put that on the books. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's stuff like that. And I don't know why people fucking don't understand that this argument is basically similar to that.
Because popular speech doesn't need...
How do you draw the line between art and not art, though? You could easily... Well, because cake is something edible. And so they said that wasn't just art. The design on the cake was what the art was, not the cake itself. So, yeah.
Protecting. It's unpopular speech that needs protecting. That's why it's first. The war on terror was already used to take away our free speech rights, to take away our right of protection from invasive searches from the government. We live in a surveillance state, and now they're going to use this even more. Joe Biden has already said he's going to use this. They're using it as a domestic terrorism threat. And let me just tell you something. They never sent. We know who gets censored. People who are pro-war never get censored. People who tell the truth about war get censored. That's why I'm being censored. That's why my channel gets throttled. That's why my so this is I just lost 4,000 Twitter followers for no reason.
I can tell you the reason that you lost them. They got banned. You ever been censored on News's most popular program? Tucker Carlson, I believe it's him or Hannity, gets the highest ratings on all news platforms. You ever been censored while doing that live? Yeah, real garbage. Yeah, 4,000 of your Twitter followers were fake or Nazis. Yeah, that's definitely what the case was. Yeah, imagine being mad about Twitter followers. I gained Twitter followers, so I don't know what's that say. Weird.
So I don't understand how the left has to keep relearning this over and over and over. And, you know, the first person to be deplatformed was WikiLeaks and Julian Assange. And this would be a great way for Donald Trump to stick the thumb back in the eye of these people.
WikiLeaks? What? Am I dumb? I looked at WikiLeaks today, didn't I? WikiLeaks is right here. What? They have 5.5 million. What? They're verified. What? What? Wait, what? I don't understand. What's the censorship? I don't understand. Where's the censorship involved here? Okay. All right. What's Jimmy Dore's politics? Oh boy. Very aggressive, progressive. But like still wrong about stuff. He's something.
Is the
WikiLeaks as a source? What do you mean? What? Jimmy Dore's political leaning is Jimmy Dore. That's probably a really good, yeah.
Julian Assange, if he knows what's good for freedom of speech
and
freedom
he's
of
just
the
contrarian.
press,
That's
he
a good
should
idea,
take this moment and pardon Julian Assange.
He does this kind of shit because he's a grifter. He just wants views.
I didn't used to think that, and I totally
agree
with it.
He's a shock jock.
Partly because you convinced me through the force of your argument. I think that's absolutely right. So I hope you will come back. Yeah, please.
Can I just say, Tucker, this all started with the failure of neoliberalism. Why did Donald Trump get elected? So they couldn't ever come to terms with why he got elected. So it was corporate lefty journalists who pressured social media outlets to start censoring people who weren't adhering to this official narrative.
What?
And that's what's going on here. And that's what's scary. Neoliberalism is a failed ideology. And that's why they're now using censorship to control the narrative, because they can't back it up.
I don't know how he can say a correct thing like neoliberalism is a failed ideology, correct, and then immediately say and there's a conspiracy to just censor people they don't like. Why is AOC a person they don't censor then? Because they don't like progressives, they don't like leftists. Like Bernie Sanders is repeatedly not censored by these exact same media outlets. What? And they hate that shit. They despise the idea of lessening capitalism in that space. What? Neoliberals are just Republicans with a black friend. And that's a fact. That's a fact. Neoliberals are literally Republicans, but they're the family from Get Out. True.
And I hope you made a really evocative point, which we don't have time to explore. I hope you'll come back and explain sometime why people who are against pointless wars get censored, not those who are for them. No one will ever censor Bill Kristol. And anyway, I hope you'll come back on that topic. Jimmy Dore, great to see you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. Good job, Jimmy. Good job, Jimmy. Way to be, bro. Just doing the thing. That's the way to do it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Jimmy Dore would be a Republican, but it wouldn't make him money. Oh, boy. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that shit. You don't go on Tucker Carlson's fucking platform and not go crush Tucker Carlson, okay? He was on for about 4 minutes. Yeah, they had a 4-minute segment with him. Tucker Carlson should fucking hate your guts after you talk to him. That's the best way to interact with him. Anyway. Jimmy Dore's trash. Okay. Well, that's the end of that video. Smash your corn buttons. Smash them.